Welcome back, and now it's time to talk with the head men's and women's track and field head coach, Natalie Bach-Prather. Coach Prather, last week, the one thing that you talked about entering the Abilene meet was, of course, the win and how much of a factor it was. But I'm sure it might have been, but you did come away with some first-place finishes, especially on the men's side. Just talk about the meet.
Yeah, we are always a little intimidated by the wind going there, but I can definitely say this was the best trip we've ever had to Abilene in the whole 5 years that we've had our track and field team. We, of course, had our winner with Zach Biles, had a major PR, clearing 15:11. Hopefully, I think that pretty much puts him into outdoor championships later on in the year. And, of course, Mac Broussard, he got the 10K as well. And we had some major PRs across the board. And on our men's side, that we also had those two sprinters that qualified for Texas Relays. So everybody improved and did a great job.
All right, Coach, just kind of talk about what this kind of does for your team. You talked about guys like Mac and Zach Biles getting first place, and then you had sprinters qualifying for those Texas Relays, and that's difficult to do. So just kind of talk about what this kind of does for your team, what you see as the overall picture going forward after those performances.
Well, this was a great moment in our season for them to have this kind of boost of confidence, Besides those performances, we had a big PR for Thomas Reynolds as well. He threw the shot put 49, and that's his biggest PR that he's had, and he keeps improving. So for everyone to have felt that good and to have performed that well in 22-mile-per-hour winds is really impressive. And it just, they know we have to come back here for conference, and I think that they always get a little nervous about that, but knowing that they performed so well today, I think it kind of gave them the edge that we needed for the rest of the season.
Now, this week, you look at the schedule, and you have two events going on this weekend. You briefly talked about it. First off, you have a couple of runners running at the Texas Relays at the University of Austin, but then you travel up to Southern Arkansas to compete in the next meet. So just kind of talk about the plan going into this, who's going to be competing at the Texas Relays, and how all this is going to work out, especially for your team.
Yeah, so going to the Texas Relays, we have Roderick Monroe, who is a sophomore for us. He's probably improved more than any one athlete I've ever coached. Last year, he, I think, competed in one meet. He had a lot of injuries. Wasn't that fast, but came back with a vengeance and happens to be one of our fastest sprinters, qualified for the Texas Relays, had a heck of a day. And then, of course, we've got Matthew Berry, our senior, and, I'm so proud of him because he was kind of our first sprinter for our team, for our track and field team, and he's been able to make it all 4 years in a row. So that was really big for him personally, so I'm proud of him for that. But they'll both compete in the 100 on Friday, and then I'm taking the rest of the team up to Southern Arkansas on Saturday for a day meet. In Southern Arkansas, it's going to be kind of a fun meet. I think that we had a lot of conversation yesterday when they found out what they were doing. We're using this as an experiment event, and so every sprinter has been moved up. If there are 1-2, they're going to be running the 2-4. We've thrown some people in the steeplechase. We've just kind of turned everything upside down just to see how they react, see what they do, kind of give them a break mentally because they have no idea what to expect. So it's going to be a really fun day.
And Coach, and I actually, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about, just looking at the lineups for this week. So how does that kind of change your mindset when you know that you're going to be thrown into an event that you don't typically run? What does that kind of do for your mind mentally?
Well, there's all this great strategy that's going behind all of this. Coming off of a great weekend like last weekend, we're not going to be able to achieve those PRs for a second weekend in a row. So going into the final stretches of our practice, I want them to be able to stay excited about that. And if they go in and they do exactly what we did last weekend and we don't have as good of times, that's going to be like, dang, how do we do that? But if I turn it upside down and put them in events they've never done before, they can't be disappointed because they've never done it before. Something else we're trying new this year is actually Friday at practice. We're assimilating the races that they will be doing for conference. and we're doing full out, 1, 2, 4 on the track, and then taking them to do weird distances on Saturday. But that's to kind of mimic the 2-day meet that we have in McMurray. And, in the past, we always come out really strong that first day, and then we're really fatigued the second day. So this is going to be a great way to push them and kind of get them to feel what it's going to be like to have a 2-day meet where they're expected to perform at their highest level 2 days in a row. Except Saturday, it'll be a little bit of a mental break since I don't want to push them that hard at this moment, but it's all part of the strategy.
All right, well, according to Coach Prather, it's going to be a mad world this week. They take part in the Texas Relays in Southern Arkansas. All right, folks, stick around. We'll be right back with our next head coach. You'll find out who it is in just a moment.